We are continuing with our playthrough of No Peace Without Honor on the Dutch and Allied War and the Dutch-Anglo War. And we are now on turn 7. I believe it's 1678. So in the events phase, both players choose a card that can be held. So these are held. And the French receive 4 replacement points. The Dutch receive 5. This is because Portugal joined. And also for reinforcements, both Lorraine and Frederick Wilhelm have returned from their endeavors to deal with Turkey, the Turks, and the Swedes. So now they're available back to, help out with the Dutch. So they're in the home space. So on round 1, the French start out with 3 ops, and Turenne marches with an army to Naarden. The Dutch there decide to retreat into the fort. Then Luxembourg moves from Liege to Nijmegen, and then the unnamed leader and Army C march from Mainz to Koblenz. And then the Dutch decide to play 2 ops to flood Amsterdam and Naarden. So that's going to make it difficult for Turenne to win that siege at Naarden. During round 2, though, the French continue with their they want to continue with their siege, but Turenne is now overstacked because of the flood, so 2 corps have to fall back to Nijmegen, and they join Luxembourg. So 2 ops are spent, and a siege at Naarden is launched, and this doesn't go well for the French. They lose strength, and the Dutch have basically no effect. And the other ops is to send replacements to Liege. Then in round 2 for the Dutch, Frederick Wilhelm and Lorraine march from the Empire to Koblenz because they intend to besiege the fortress there, and the French that are at Koblenz decide to retreat into the fortress. The Dutch also put some replacements in with Prince William. Then we go to round 3. The French continue their siege at Naarden, and they have a 1+1 modifier now because they have continued siege. And this time the French lose 1 and the Dutch lose 2. A second point is operation is played to place replacements in Liege. Then the Dutch open their siege at Koblenz, and this goes very poorly, but they have a -1 die roll modifier, unfortunately, so they lose strength and the French lose nothing, but they do get a continued siege marker for this. Then going on to round 4, the French resume the siege at Naarden. They have a +2 modifier now. Turenne is the leader, and the result is 1-1, so the French lose a point and the Dutch lose a point. And I use another operation for Catenet to take some replacements. Then in round 4 for the Dutch, the siege at Koblenz continues. This time there's no die roll modifier, but the result is no effect. 0 losses to each side. So that is turning out to be a fruitless endeavor, but at least it is causing maybe a diversion of the French. So we go to round 5. The French continue the siege at Naarden, and now they are at a +2 modifier, and the result is both sides take a loss of 1, but the fortress is still standing. And then the Dutch also play operations to resume the siege at Koblenz. And again, this time there is a modifier because it's a continued siege, but the result is no effect. 0 losses to each side. So that was a complete failure. So we're going to now go to winter quarters. The French war weariness increases because England is still allied. I didn't discard them. I don't know if I probably should, but I'm not. So it puts the weariness up to 10. Then Turin has to withdraw from Naarden. The siege, failed, so he falls back to Nijmegen. And as well, the Empire under Frederick Wilhelm and Lorraine also withdraw from their siege at Koblenz back into the Empire. So this allows Naarden to rebuild or resupply their fortress, and the flooding at Naarden and Amsterdam has dissipated now, and that brings an end to turn 7, 1678. So now we go to turn 8, and the event is cannon shot. Kills De Ruyter. So Mediterranean control goes to the Bourbons, which they already controlled it anyway. And also, this is terrible. It allows a French leader and 3 court a free naval move to Naples. And there's nothing in Naples, so of course they're going to besiege it. Dutch war weariness increases by 1, and this is the Habsburgs go to war. So Spain declares war on France, and so the Dutch replacements are going to increase up to 6. So then the French use their 4 replacements, the Dutch use their 6, and then we go into the action rounds. So on turn 1, the French have Turin march to Antwerp, and there is a leader there, an unnamed leader, and 2 corps, and they retreat into the fortress. Then Luxembourg marches to Naarden, and the forces there retreat into the fortress. And then the siege opens at Naples, but it's no effect. So the Dutch respond by flooding the Naarden and Amsterdam areas, which is going to make it difficult for the French. However, I don't think the French really were intending to be serious about Naarden, but they did want the Dutch to have to use 2 operations to do the flooding. So anyway, with the 3rd operation, Prince William and the French Empire march to Mainz. So in round 2, there's the siege continues at Antwerp with Turin, and the result is 1 loss to the French, 2 losses to the Allies, so the fortress is now reduced to 0. Then Naples has a siege that is continuing. There's another no effect despite the die roll modifier. And then I also open with the siege at Naarden, and both sides take 1 loss. The Dutch open up with a siege at Mainz with a +1 modifier, but there's no effect. And Frederick Wilhelm marches to Nijmegen. He's going to siege there. Then in round 3, the French use 2 operations to continue their siege at Antwerp. This is very successful. They have a -2 die roll modifier. The French do lose a strength, but the Dutch lose 3. They still have some presence there, but it isn't looking good. Then Naples has a siege with an unnamed French leader with a +2 modifier, and there is no effect. The Dutch continue their siege at Mainz, and each side takes 1 loss. And then the Dutch siege at Nijmegen, and the Dutch lose 1, and the fortress is down to 0 now. But there's still quite a bit of French troops there. Then in round 4, the French continue their siege at Naples, and the fort is destroyed and Naples falls. This is 2 victory points to the French, which puts the track down to 1 victory point. And then the siege at Antwerp is successful, and there's just a leader and a reduced corps that is given honors of war, and they retreat, and Antwerp falls, dropping the victory points down to 0, and this is an automatic Bourbon victory. So that's how this game wraps up. Kind of a fun game. I enjoyed learning a little bit about the history of the Dutch Anglo War. And also, I know I probably missed a few rules and made a mistake here and there, but I got a great narrative out of this game, so I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to other games in this series. Stay tuned for more videos on different war games on this channel, and I hope you all have a great day.